So recently someone made a post on the official Dead by Daylight forums why the devs being so silent on the mid-chapter disaster. Let's be honest, the mid-chapter is a disaster on several levels. When we get some statements on the miserable situation, will they try to sit it out? Do they think the data will miraculously change if they wait long enough? Feedback from the PTP was ignored. They purposely forced balancing onto the community. How long will we suffer through this disastrous mid-chapter? How many players are willing to sacrifice for their unreasonable changes? They need to put up with an extraordinary statement to justify this mess. And what Mandy, a BHVR employee, has written, this last mid-chapter was a big one. There are a lot of changes, including base changes. We are very aware that's going to take some time to settle down. It's something we are continually monitoring. If we see the need to make changes to things further down the line, that's something we will do. However, we're not making knee-jerk reactions here. If we do see something that we know are going to be an issue of higher importance, we will of course make changes in the planned hotfixes. There'll also be further changes made down the line, depending on how things play out once players have had time to adjust to a lot of the recent changes. Dead by Daylight is a live game, it's continually evolving, and changes made based on this. The plan of this update was increase kill rates, as those were lower than we'd like. It will take some time to fully see the extent of the changes made, players adapt. This update and the after effects of this update is definitely something we are monitoring closely. And as I've been playing Dead by Daylight, I've been noticing that there are a lot of people suiciding on hook and disconnecting. A lot of people just straight up giving up because killers are tunneling, killers are camping. They have a very tough time. I realize that a lot of people are frustrated at BHVR's changes, and we got an official word from BHVR that they are waiting out the changes to see how players adapt before making any further changes. With all that being said, I play a lot of solo queue Survivor, and I want to help you guys adapt to try to actually beat killers that tunnel, beat killers that camp. So this is the build that I run to counter tunneling killers. This is the build I run in solo queue to make sure killers are punished for tunneling and camping. The build is Dead Hard, Resilience, Decisive Strike, and Off the Record. And this is how it works. Okay, let's say the killer chases me, I use Dead Hard, and then the killer puts me on the hook. Let's say the killer decides to camp me and tunnel me. Like what happens to a lot of you guys in solo queue, I get to use Off the Record. This way, the killer is forced to hit me twice in order to down me when I get off the hook. And let's say the killer wants to tunnel me out of the game completely, I'll have Decisive Strike right off the hook. I want to emphasize, you don't want to do a conspicuous action. This way, if the killer wants to hardcore camp or tunnel me in solo queue, he needs to not only hit me once, but twice. And then he needs to eat my Decisive Strike. Decisive Strike may have been nerfed to 3 seconds instead of 5 seconds, so that's why every single time I go down with Decisive Strike, I make sure I'm close to a window or a pallet. Don't camp the pallet, don't camp the window, just fucking go. Make sure you get as much distance between you and the killer as much as possible, so they can't tunnel you even further. And the killer still stays on me. I use Dead Hard. This way, I can get 2 endurance effects in one chase, Off the Record and Dead Hard. And if he hits me after the Dead Hard, then I go down. I force the killer to effectively hit me 4 times if they want to tunnel me out of the game. This is how I survive in solo queue. I also use Resilience to gain a 9% vaulting speed. The reason why I use Resilience along with this build is because when I position myself next to a window or a pallet, it allows me to get more distance away from a tunneling killer. This is how I survive solo queue. I'm hoping that a build like this can help you guys survive solo queue too. I understand that a lot of you guys are struggling, and I was extremely hesitant about making a video on a build that is the meta build, but it seems like a lot of you guys are having a lot of problems. This is the sequence of how the build goes down. So let's say a killer wants to tunnel me, and I'm in solo queue. This is what they need to do to kill me with this build. They hit me once while I'm healthy, then they hit my Dead Hard. They hook me, and I get unhooked, they try to tunnel me. They hit my Off the Record. They down me, they get hit by my Decisive Strike. I run away, I position myself at a window or a pallet, so I could effectively get away. They hit my Dead Hard, and then I go down on the 6th hit. If the killer wants to tunnel me, I try to milk the most value out of the killer as much as I humanly can. And you say, Coconut, but Dead Hard's useless. Okay, use Live, use Bounce Landing. I think what's important to realize is that once the killer downs you, your exhaustion resets. So let's say instead of Dead Hard, I use Live. I get unhooked, the killer hits me with Off the Record, and then I use my Live. And I get 3 seconds of 150% extra speed boost. I get a sprint away. The killer decides to down me, and he eats my Decisive Strike. I get to use Live again in the same tunneling method. I effectively get exhaustion twice when a killer's tunneling me. This is how you survive solo queue. You get 2 lives, you get 2 balanced landings, you get 2 Dead Hards. This is what I do in solo queue to survive. And if you guys really want to completely copy my build completely, you can use resilience to get the extra vault speed. I know a lot of you guys are struggling in solo queue, and I want to help. So I hope this doesn't break the meta. I want to repeat, my build is dead hard, resilience, decisive strike, and off the record. This is how you survive solo queue. This is probably the strongest meta build you can use if a killer is telling you or camping you, especially since off the record gives you 80 seconds of endurance. It might be even stronger than the previous meta build. I want you guys to try this out in solo queue and let me know what you guys' experience are like, because I know a lot of you guys are struggling. I know you guys are getting a lot of tunneling and camping killers. Solo queue is not dead. Just try this build out, get exhaustion twice, and yeah, I hope this makes Survivor easier for you guys. I'm sorry that a lot of you guys are struggling, and I hope this helps.